What's up, everyone? In this episode, we're going to take a look at the Dallas Cowboys, the highlight team of 2016. So a lot of players to talk about here, so we're going to jump right in and take a look at the roster. Quarterback, I still think Tony Romo is the better overall player than Dak Prescott, but I think there's no way we're going to see them move on, and Dak will continue to grow, so they'll continue playing Dak and Tony. Probably going to be playing for a new team next year. It's going to be hard to predict where. Denver, Kansas City, Houston, those teams all seem to make sense. Oh, or even Chicago with his connection to Illinois. So we'll see where he ends up. That'll be fun to watch. And then on to Dak. A lot of you know I'm lower on Dak than most people. I still think he's going to turn into a great player. He is a great player. But I think his overall arm talent is going to hold him back. And this was really revealing in that skills competition, which we saw. Even like Phillip Rivers, who gets criticized for his arm strength, was, incredibly more precise and powerful with his throws than like Dak and Andy Dalton. I think Dak is a better version of Alex Smith down the road on a much better team, but a little more instinctiveness when it comes to throwing deep and a little more athleticism as well. So we'll see him develop. I have him at an 80, which is 5 lower than EA. It's still going to set him on the top, I believe, 14 to 16 quarterbacks in the game. So I think that's about where he should sit. I would love to hear from you guys to think if you agree or disagree with me on that. Dak Prescott, definitely one of the more interesting players to rank for me. And then on to the running backs. Zeke, his overall does not change, but I did adjust his ratings a lot. I thought his acceleration was a little low, and his trucking was at like an 81. I've seen Zeke just run guys over, moved his ball carrier vision and awareness down to account for those increases. And then onto the other running backs, just some veterans here. Rumors that Adrian Peterson is going to be considering going to the Cowboys, so that would be pretty crazy. But Darren McFadden and Alfred Morris, definitely not bad backups. And then at the receiver, Des Bryant, total stud. I think his ratings most of these guys' ratings are about the same. Terrence Williams goes down a little bit. He was an 80. I think that was a little high. And then onto the tight end, I moved Jason Witten down just a little bit. He's a 92 overall in EA. I think he's an awesome player, Hall of Famer, but not necessarily a total impact player in the game. He just kind of does everything very well, but he's not an elite receiver and he's not an elite blocker. So I think 86 is a good mark for him. Onto the offensive line, I had to move Tyron Smith up. I think he was only a 90, and he's the best left tackle in football. His pass protection, he's a machine, but as a run blocker, I think EA underrates him. He makes just crazy impact blocks, just like shoving guys over with one arm. He's only 25, going on 26. So he goes up to 97, going to be one of the best players in Madden. And then looking at the rest of the offensive line, these guys are all studs. Lyle Collins is going to be interesting. I could see him actually moving over to right tackle because I believe Doug Free is a free agent, and Doug Free was the kind of liability if there was one on this line. And then Zach Martin moving up and Travis Frederick moving up. These guys are all, the best of the best at their position. On the D line, not a ton of movement. Jack Crawford's a guy I like a lot. It's really crazy to look at the depth that Dallas has really across this entire defense. Not really any superstars outside of Sean Lee, but they're really the only team that you're going to see with like 70 overalls, 2-3 deep at pretty much every position as we scroll through here. But yeah, not a ton of change between these guys. Malik goes up just a little bit. Onto the linebackers, again, not a ton of movement. Jalen Smith coming back next year will be very interesting. Could be a total game changer for this defense that was pretty average throughout the course of the year. Corners, pretty solid. I really like Anthony Brown developing. Very physical, athletic guy. And then the safeties, moving down just a little bit, but still pretty solid here. Byron Jones. Jeff Heath had a huge game against the Packers. He's a 75 overall. And then Barry Church, J.J. Wilcox, again, pretty deep at safety. So that's going to conclude my roster look for the Cowboys. Season grade, I think you got to give this team an A. They had a great season. Not a lot of people expected it, and an incredibly optimistic look going forward with just a ton of youth. Obviously, the two-star rookies, but really, as you look at the top of this roster, the offensive line is very young. They're going to have another solid 6-7 years in their prime, which makes it really scary for fans of other teams. So definitely optimistic for the Cowboys. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the changes I made to the roster, and we'll see you next time.